Here's an interesting anecdote from, it's kind of a funny old story I was thinking about the other day is, a lot of people say, well, you don't want to do too many sets because then you're into junk volume. You don't want to do too few sets because then you're not stimulating yourself, and then you have to deal with overworking and that sort of thing. And then I started thinking about when I was a kid, and my very first, maybe even second job, was I was delivering newspapers up in Edmonton, and we would strap on these bags, 2 massive bags, and we were probably carrying, even at 10 years old, carrying around like 100 pounds of newspapers for like an hour. And I just can't see someone putting on 300 pounds of newspapers for 5 minutes, how that's going to be as good as, it's not going to play out.
Yeah.
Like hauling those newspapers around weirdly had impact on my physique.
I believe it.
Because like it was a lot of weight around your neck.
Yeah.
And just trudging through snow and cold and stuff. And so I kind of always thought, look, you just got to go hard. And if you can continue, like, we always talk about progressive overloads. Isn't one of the overloads to be able, like if you start someone out at 10 sets a week, wouldn't progressive overload say, if you can get to 15 sets at some point, that's good too?
I think it's volume over time.
Yeah.
Right. But it is managing it as well. So it's it's increasing sets over time. But at what point are you going to get injured? So again, I like this sort of undulating approach where you're sort of building sets up, you're building reps up, you're building load up, and then you need to recover at some point, right? Otherwise, shit's going to hit the fan, you're going to get injured. Taking these periods where you're just pushing it and then dropping off, and then you're going to rebuild it back up. But over time, progressive overload to get stronger, right? From using the 15-pound dumbbells to 30-pound dumbbells, but not doing it over a week. It's kind of 5 years, 10 years, whatever, right?
It was interesting. I think it was Rich Piano had an interview one time, and they were talking about drug use, and that guy's massive, and he works out, and he has a certain amount of celebrity around the fact that he would do like 100 rep sets all the time, or do 3 sets of 100 reps, like some crazy big numbers. And then he started talking about injuries and how he gets injured. And he was suggesting that, as much as, performance enhancing drugs are a big issue, he says he thought that painkillers were a bigger issue amongst bodybuilders because, they're pushing themselves really hard. And so he said that was the bigger issue because it was killing people more or less. That's what his thought was at the time. It was interesting.
Yeah, that's a whole different world, but I believe it for sure, right? Yeah. Like you're pushing the body to the extreme, and there's a whole tendon versus muscular issue on that side for sure. Things growing at different rates and injuries occurring because of that. What do you do? Okay, I'm just going to pop some pills so that I'm not, so I can train effectively, because that's goal number one is what actually getting into the gym and doing the workout, right?
That's right. It was interesting after I started competing. Before I started competing, I'd injured myself a lot, but mostly it was like falling or coming off a bike or whatever the case was. After I started competing, I started getting more tears in hamstrings and glutes.
Yeah.
It was like with that same year, and it was like nonstop.
And that was from lifting.
From
weights.
Lifting, just more, and like being leaner too, which is interesting because I think being lean has some impact on your ability to manage weight and recover, which is
I 100%
kind of a weird
agree
twist.
with that. Yeah. So I'm always worried to step out of my Jeep, right? Like when you're that lean, you're like, okay, handle.
Yeah.
But I was I think 6 weeks out from one of my competitions back in 2014, and we were like, that's a good idea to sprint, right? I haven't sprinted since I was 18, and I just remembered feeling this bite in the back of my leg and just going straight down on the grass, and that was the scariest. I felt my career was over, right?
How bad was it?
It was like a grade 2. It was like I was able to step on stage and stuff like that, but I saw my girlfriend at the time was like an athletic therapist, so had the TENS machine, and we kind of did our best for the recovery, but it scared the crap out of me.
But a tear is a tear. You can't massage a tear back together. Once it's torn, it's
it was definitely time. That okay, now I'm going to train smart, and not just do it all, go hard all the time. You're going to be really selective with what I'm picking, what exercises and such. Yeah.
Wow. So you must have. do you change routines quite frequently yourself, or like, because you're doing powerlifting at the same time, and like, how does that play into the bodybuilding training?
Yeah, there's definitely it definitely takes away from bodybuilding, right? So I definitely go through these spells where right now I've got a year off season for just bodybuilding, but I like to use the strength aspect that I built up in the three main lifts to convert into, you know, a stronger muscle.
Bicep curls, bench press, and crunches.
Exactly. Yeah. The strict curl and the So, but I you can do both well, but I don't think you can do both great, right? You can do either great, not both kind of great, right? So, so we're just going through a period now where I'm just kind of more focusing on the bodybuilding. So yeah, my routine has switched up over this past, you know, from the previous 18 months. Yeah. But it will stay pretty samey now until I compete. Yeah. So I've, you know, there's more curls, there's more leg curls, calf raises and all the stuff that I wasn't doing. So, but I do find that my physique changes like within a month. Just just because the volume is back again. Like the muscles are always there. Like it's not like you're wasting them or anything like that, but about a month of actually doing some, you know, press downs and bicep curls, calf raises, they come back within a month. Yeah. So it's a good time.